So, Jujutsu Kaisen, ever heard of it? Of course you have. It's only the anime that took over the internet like a cursed virus. One minute you're minding your own business, the next minute your timeline is nothing but blindfolded hotties and cursed finger memes. If you thought anime couldn't get more chaotic, hold my cursed energy drink, because this show said challenge accepted. I mean, we've got a high school kid eating a mummified finger like it's a stale chicken nugget, demons spawned from bad vibes, and a panda that throws kung fu. Not Po, mind you. And the dude's so OP that he wears a blindfold just to give the bad guys a fighting chance. Welcome to Jujutsu Kaisen, where the storyline is insane, the fights are absurdly flashy, and the population of characters could fill a small country. And guess who's about to recap this absurdly complex saga? Yeah boy. That's right, I'm doing that thing again where I attempt to summarize a series with more plot twists than a pretzel. This is your one and only spoiler warning. I'm about to condense all seasons of pure chaos into a simple recap. If you haven't watched it and you're still here, well, that's a pretty bold move. Let's do this. Our story begins, as all great anime do, in high school, with a completely normal, average kid who can punch through solid concrete. Meet Yuji Itadori, resident pink-haired himbo with a heart of gold and the athletic ability of an Olympic gymnast. When he's not breaking world records for fun, he's hanging out with his bedridden grandpa, who gives Yuji some sage advice. Help people, because you're strong and dying alone sucks. Then Gramps pieces out, leaving Yuji with a parting quest to be a good dude. Cue destiny knocking, or rather a box containing a cursed finger that looks like it's been left in the sun since the Meiji era. Yuji and his occult club friends, because, well, of course he's in the occult club, unknowingly snag this nasty looking finger, thinking it's just a spooky trinket. Spoiler? It's not. It's basically a demon's chew toy, and every curse in town wants a bite. Enter Megumi Fushiguro, our brooding sorcerer in training, who shows up looking for the cursed finger. Megumi is that one edgy classmate who can summon demon dogs from his shadow, which is admittedly a pretty cool party trick. He's tracking the finger because, surprise, it belongs to Ryomen Sukuna, aka the nastiest curse ever to exist, aka the king of curses, aka basically the nine-tailed fox of this world but in finger food form. Before Megumi can say bad idea, Yuji's friends at the occult club accidentally unwrap the finger and attract a whole horde of actual curses. These curses are not your Scooby-Doo sheet ghosts, they're more like nightmare-fueled goblins that want to snack on human limbs. One of these monsters decides Yuji's buddies look like a tasty treat, and our boy Yuji, being the newly minted goodest boy, trademark pending, thanks to Grandpa's last wish, rushes in to save them armed with nothing but sheer dumb bravery. Now, Yuji quickly realizes punching a curse in the face isn't as effective as punching, say, a volleyball. Megumi's pulling out all the stops with his demon dogs, but things are getting out of hand. The big curse is about to make sushi out of our heroes, and in a moment of either genius or the greatest brain fart in history, Yuji does the unthinkable. He eats the damn finger. Yep, desperate times call for disgusting measures. And wouldn't you know it, it actually works. Kind of. Yeah, Yuji just accidentally invited the most evil demon into his soul. Whoops. So, Sukuna, evil curse king, now a freeloader in Yuji's body, wakes up and takes control, and he's like, I'm free, and immediately tries to murder Megumi because, hey, Demon King's got a demon. But plot twist, Yuji wrestles back control of his own body almost instantly. Basically before Sukuna can finish his evil laugh. Sukuna is stuck inside like an edgy tattoo come to life, and he is not happy about it. Imagine being the most feared evil in history, and your new jail is a teenager who eats weird crap on a dare. Yeah, that's Sukuna's life now. Enter the man, the myth, the legend, Satoru Gojo.
Some already passing out and are being pulled from the crowd.
This guy literally warp speeds onto the scene like, yo, heard y'all had a party and didn't invite me. Gojo is a Jujutsu sorcerer. Think Exorcist, but make it anime. And he's basically the strongest dude in existence. How strong, you ask? Well, he decides to test Yuji/Sukuna by letting Sukuna out for 10 seconds and completely flexes on him. Oh, and did I mention that Gojo is wearing a blindfold? Because apparently having functional eyesight would just make things too easy. And when he finally takes it off, we see those eyes. Those godly, so beautiful anime eyes that launched 1,000 simps, and Sukuna gets promptly curb stomped. Yep, that's right. The king of curses just got treated like a tutorial boss. At this point, we realize two things. One, Gojo is ridiculously OP. And two, he damn well knows it. After Yuji regains control, lucky for Megumi, who didn't become demon kibble, we hit the "congrats, you're a wizard, Harry" moment. Except instead of Hogwarts, Yuji gets dragged to Jujutsu Tech, a secret high school for sorcerers, where the curriculum is less potions class and more how to not die fighting evil spirits. There, the higher-ups are like, this kid swallowed what? Yeah, that's a death sentence. And they literally want to execute Yuji on the spot to eliminate Sukuna. But Gojo, being the absolute mad lad he is, proposes a compromise. Let Yuji live for now so he can help collect all 20 of Sukuna's fingers. Ew, there are 20? Yes, apparently cursed kings have extra phalanges or something. Once they've gathered all the finger-licking evil, then they'll off Yuji and Sukuna in one go. Sounds brutal? Definitely. But Yuji, the selfless cinnamon roll that he is, agrees. If it means that he can save more people and give Mr. Evil Fingers the ultimate bad breath extermination, he's in. And thus our cannibal chic protagonist officially enrolls in Jujutsu High. Day 1 at Jujutsu High, Yuji meets his new squad. First up, Nobara Kugisaki, the resident hammer-wielding fashionista. She's a sassy redhead who's just as likely to compliment her own outfit as she is to exercise a curse by pounding nails into a voodoo doll. Essentially, she takes the magical girl concept and yeets it out the window in favor of magical goth with a killer toolkit. Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara form the new first-year trio under Gojo's mentorship. Think Team 7 from Naruto, but instead of ninja headbands, they've got cursed finger missions and way more trauma. Gojo, being the responsible leader that he totally is, decides to immediately throw Yuji and Nobara into the deep end for some field training. And by field training, I mean he basically says, here's a creepy haunted house with nasty curses inside. Good luck, kiddos! So the two head to an abandoned building to rescue some humans and exterminate curses. They split up, because great idea in a horror situation, and of course each of them gets ambushed by curses. Nobara faces off against a creepy doll-like curse holding a kid hostage. She shows off her straw doll technique, which is just a fancy way of saying she can turn anything into a voodoo doll and nail the curse from afar. She literally hammers a nail through a severed cursed arm to exorcise the main baddie, all while delivering sass like it's an Olympic sport. Immediate best girl material. Meanwhile, Yuji is dealing with a bigger curse upstairs and nearly gets his face bitten off. Good thing Gojo lent him a cursed knife, one quick slice, plus a follow-up punch for style points, and bam! Curse exorcised. Mission accomplished, and Yuji officially earns his exorcist stripes. The duo emerges victorious, slightly traumatized, and officially baptized into the Jujutsu lifestyle. After this little warm-up, it's training montage time. Yuji needs to learn how to control his cursed energy because winging it with raw strength only gets you so far when fighting eldritch horrors. Gojo's training regimen for Yuji is unconventional. Instead of wax on, wax off, it's watch movies on an old VHS player while controlling your emotions, or this creepy plushie will punch you in the face. Yes, Gojo-sensei hands Yuji a crusty-looking doll named Punching Puppet that will whack him anytime his focus slips during movie night. If nothing else, Yuji's pop culture knowledge is leveling up alongside his combat skills. Talk about multitasking. Meanwhile, while Yuji is bonding with Fists of Fury plushies, trouble is brewing in the world of curses. We meet some of the big bads of the series, and boy are they a colorful bunch. There's Mahito, who looks like a patchwork art project gone wrong, a humanoid curse with stitches all over his body and the mentality of a sadistic child playing with ants. He literally finds joy in reshaping human bodies like Play-Doh. Then there's Jogo, a walking volcano head with an ego as fiery as his dome. And Hanami, a quiet plant-like curse who probably listens to death metal and talks to trees. Leading these cursed avengers is Suguru Geto, a rogue sorcerer with a man-bun game so strong, it's practically a personality trait. Geto's the smooth-talking mastermind type, pulling strings from the shadows. Their evil plan? Essentially destroy humanity and replace it with a world of only curses because, well, humans suck. You know, typical Saturday night villain stuff. But step one of their plan is take out Satoru Gojo, because these uber baddies know that as long as Mr. OP is around, their chances of winning are about as high as Gojo having a bad hair day. So they concoct a scheme to seal Gojo away. Jogo ambushes Gojo, thinking he can solo the strongest sorcerer alive. Spoiler, he can't. Jogo swings, punches, shoots fireballs, but nothing lands. Gojo calmly explains his infinity technique. Space itself slows everything before it can even touch him. It's basically lag switch the ability. Then, just to flex even harder, Gojo teleports Yuji to him mid-battle, leaving him speechless while Gojo proceeds to body Jogo like a tutorial dummy. Because why not traumatize your student and teach him a life lesson at the same time? And the cherry on top, Gojo unveils his domain expansion, Unlimited Void. Imagine being trapped in a void where you are fed infinite information until your brain just says, nah. That's Jogo's afternoon. The lava brain gets reduced to a drooling mess before Gojo casually drops him. Lesson over. Yuji, wide-eyed, realizes what a real sorcerer looks like. Jogo, meanwhile, crawls away humiliated, plotting revenge while still smoking. Back on the hero side, Yuji's training gets cut short when a new mission comes up, a really dangerous one. There's a cursed womb causing havoc in a detention center, and Megumi and Nobara get sent in. Yuji, eager to help his new friends, tags along, despite the teachers being like, maybe not. What could go wrong, right? Answer, everything. This mission goes south faster than you can say Sukuna. They get inside the center and find a special grade curse, basically a boss level demon way above their pay grade. To put it into perspective, normal curses are like bugs, and special grades are like full-blown kaiju. This abomination is ugly as sin and absurdly strong. It's soon clear that our trio is outmatched. Panic ensues, and in the chaos, Nobara gets separated and trapped. Megumi is struggling to hold his own, and Yuji learns the hard way that punching a special grade is like tickling a tank. Desperate and cornered, Yuji makes a tough call. He lets Sukuna take the wheel. What follows is equal parts awesome and uh-oh. Sukuna comes out cackling like the evil overlord he is, and for a moment we're like, hell yeah, the tables have turned. He absolutely annihilates the special grade in seconds. The poor curse didn't stand a chance against Sukuna's ultra-violence. It's a bloodbath, and Sukuna is loving it. But then, because he's basically a walking bad decision factory, Sukuna turns his attention to Megumi. Remember, Sukuna hates everyone and everything, and Megumi is on his hit list for reasons. Sukuna rips out Yuji's heart just to blackmail Yuji. If Yuji switches back to himself, he'll die from the missing heart. Talk about an evil roommate. So now Sukuna is free to do whatever he wants, and what he wants is to torment Megumi. Sukuna is like a cat playing with a mouse, and Megumi is pulling out all his Shikigami to survive. It is not looking good, until Yuji, through sheer willpower and protagonist guts, forces himself back in control to stop Sukuna from killing his friend. Yuji returns, immediate heart failure, and dies. Yeah, the main character straight up dies like 5 episodes in. They cart Yuji's dead body to the morgue, and his friends are left grieving. Nobara and Megumi are devastated. However, surprise! Yuji's not gonna let a little thing like having no heart stop him. Inside his own mind, he strikes a deal with Sukuna. The details are hush-hush at this point, but the result is Yuji gets revived, completely fine, as if Heart-Ripping Tuesday never happened. It's a big WTF moment for Yuji. One minute you're dead, and the next you wake up on a slab with the Curse King laughing in your head. Tuesday for him, I guess. Since everyone still thinks he's dead, Gojo decides to keep Yuji's resurrection a secret. Why? So Yuji can train in the shadows, and then make a jaw-dropping surprise entrance later. Also, probably because Gojo enjoys trolling his colleagues. I mean, he could have told Megumi and Nobara, but nah. While undercover, Yuji gets paired with a new mentor for some hands-on research, Kento Nanami. Now, Nanami is the most relatable dude in this entire series. He's a former salaryman who treats sorcery like a 9-to-5 job, wears a suit, carries a badass sword, and is very, very hot. Not to mention, always looks like he's done with everyone else's crap. Imagine a weary office worker, except instead of spreadsheets, he's cutting curses in half. Absolute legend. Yuji and Nanami team up to investigate some mysterious deaths at a local theater. There, Yuji meets Junpei, a gloomy teen who looks one bad day away from becoming an edgy anime villain. Junpei has been bullied hardcore and has nobody in his life, except his sweet mom. Yuji, being the golden retriever of friendship that he is, reaches out to Junpei and they actually bond over movies and being socially awkward. It's wholesome, and you start thinking, aw, Yuji's getting a new friend. Which, of course, in anime usually means prepare for tragedy, because lurking in the background is Mahito, our resident patchwork psychopath. Mahito befriends Junpei with the intent of grooming him to the dark side, whispering things like, "People are trash. Don't you want to kill all your bullies?" Yeah, real model citizen, that Mahito. One night, Mahito's crew literally drops a finger at Junpei's house, and a curse kills Junpei's mom. Yep, they went there. Pushed to the edge by grief, Junpei is easy prey. Mahito slithers in and hands him a get-revenge-quick scheme. Junpei shows up at a school ready to unleash a newly acquired pet jellyfish curse on the bullies. Yuji intervenes and manages to talk Junpei down from a rampage. It's looking like maybe, just maybe, we'll save this kid and add a new pal to the Jujutsu Scooby Gang. So Mahito, being the absolute turd nugget he is, decides to personally step in. He crashes the party, and in one of the most heart-crushing moments of the show, he uses his curse technique on Junpei. Remember how he can reshape souls like Play-Doh? Yeah, Junpei gets grotesquely transfigured right before Yuji's eyes. Our boy Junpei, the once potential friend, is turned into a mindless monstrosity in seconds. Yuji is left holding Junpei's melting corpse, crying and raging, while Mahito laughs like it's the funniest prank ever. Congratulations, Mahito, you just unlocked Yuji's Super Saiyan mode out of pure anger. What follows is Yuji going absolutely ballistic. He's punching Mahito, screaming that he'll kill him. Meanwhile, Nanami joins in and we get a 2v1 tag team against Mahito. It is an epic battle. Mahito shows off more creepy abilities, and Nanami shows off why you don't underestimate a man in a tie. Yuji taps into some serious potential, and he lands a critical hit called Black Flash. It actually hurts Mahito. They nearly finish him, but Mahito escapes by the skin of his patchwork. The bad guy lives to kill another day, and Yuji is left with yet another trauma for the collection. Rest in peace, Junpei. We barely knew you, but you deserved better. Yuji's resolve to end curses once and for all is now stronger than ever. After all that darkness, the show decides we need a palate cleanser, and what better way to lift the mood than a good old tournament arc? That's right, it's time for the Kyoto Sister School Exchange event, where Tokyo Jujutsu High, our guys, faces off against Kyoto Jujutsu High, the other guys, in a friendly competition. Think of it as the Tri-Wizard Tournament meets the Chunin exams. Yuji, now officially back from the dead, makes a grand entrance to his classmates right before the event. Nobara and Megumi's reactions are priceless. Nobara punches Yuji out of sheer anger and relief, and Megumi gives a classic emo nod of approval. The Kyoto students are introduced, and it is a quirky bunch. Aoi Todo, muscle-bound brawler, philosopher of butts, and Yuji's surprise besto friendo, Mai Zenin. Sharpshooting twin with a revolver, clan baggage, and a curse technique that conjures extra bullets. Kasumi Miwa, earnest blue-haired swordswoman who just wants to be useful, and maybe get Gojo's autograph. Kokichi Muta, or Mekumaru, giant robot, living proof that Gundam dreams can be a cursed reality. Momo Nishimiya, broom-riding witch who doubles as a team strategist and delivers unwanted lectures on gender roles mid-fight. Noritoshi Kamo, stoic archer with blood manipulation powers and family drama carved deeper than his arrows. We also got the Zenin family drama. Mai confronts her twin sister Maki with bitterness, firing off her revolver and mocking her for being the failure cast aside by their clan. Maki, calm and unshaken, deflects the bullets with cursed tools and sheer physical prowess, showing just how far she's come without cursed energy. In desperation, Mai uses her secret construction technique to conjure an extra bullet, but even that wasn't enough. Maki read it, caught it, and closed the distance. Their clash ended with Maki's quiet but resounding victory, proving she didn't need the Zenin family's approval to stand tall. Day 1 of the exchange event is basically a grand game of capture the flag in a forest full of low-level curses. It quickly turns into a manhunt for Yuji though, because the Kyoto principal secretly told his students, "Hey, could you quietly murder Yuji Itadori for us? Okay, thanks." Yeah, the adults in JJK are super ethical. Most of the Kyoto team, barring a few who have morals, jump at the chance to take down our boy Yuji. This leads to some awesome showdowns. Behind this puppet is Kokichi Muta, a frail kid confined to a tube. Later, we learn that Kokichi has made a shady deal with Mahito's gang to heal his body in exchange for acting as their moles. He eventually has a change of heart and stages one last stand, going full Gundam mode in a secret showdown against Mahito, unleashing every trick in his arsenal before getting crushed. It's a tragic, noble send-off for the boy behind the mech. Then we get Maki, badass glasses girl who has no cursed energy but makes up for it by being a weapons expert and generally terrifying. Nobara finds herself going full broomstick jousting against Kyoto's Momo Nishimiya. Momo's up there lecturing about what women can't do, and Nobara basically says, "Hold my hammer." She knocks Momo out of the sky and drops an iconic speech about self-worth, nails flying like mic drops. Nobara proves that she's not just fighting curses, she is fighting outdated tropes too. Megumi clashes with Kyoto's bow-wielding Noritoshi Kamo. It's arrows versus Shikigami, air versus air, and a reminder that cursed clans really do love their family drama. Neither side goes all out, but it shows Megumi holding his ground against an older student, and Kamo proving he is more honorable than his bloodline's shady reputation suggests. And then we have Yuji versus Todo, which is pure comedy and epic bromance rolled into one. So Todo comes barreling in like a charging rhino and smacks Yuji through a tree, nearly breaking him in half. But mid-fight, Todo pauses and asks the most important question that you can ask a man you just met while attempting to kill. What kind of girls do you like? This is not a joke. It's his litmus test for whether someone is worthy of his friendship. Yuji, confused but not missing a beat, replies honestly, "I like tall girls with a big ass, like Jennifer Lawrence." Ding ding, that's the magic answer, apparently. Todo emerges from his daydream with tears of joy and declares Yuji as his brother and best friend for life. I am not making this up. The power of thick thighs united these two souls, and from that moment on, Todo stops trying to kill Yuji and starts coaching him mid-fight like some jacked up Dr. Phil. It is bromance at its finest. But of course, it can't just be fun and games. The event is rudely interrupted by, who else? The villain squad making their move. That plant dude, Hanami, crashes the party, bringing a whole bunch of nasty curses with him. And now it's a real battle. Sorcerers versus curses. Royal rumble in the forest. Hanami is a tough cookie, shrugging off attacks despite the combined efforts of like half the students. Even our newly minted tag team of Yuji and Todo are having a hard time. We do get a showcase of Yuji's growth here though. Todo teaches him mid-battle how to use Black Flash on command. Yuji manages to land a flurry of Black Flash punches, rocking Hanami's world. Boogie Woogie, which lets him clap his hands to instantly swap places with someone. It's like the deadliest game of musical chairs ever, and it utterly confuses Hanami as Yuji and Todo keep on swapping around, delivering smackdowns from unexpected angles. You can almost feel Hanami regretting his life choices coming to this party. Oh, and let's not forget Toge Inumaki, the cursed speech senpai, who proves silence really is deadly. His blast away froze Hanami mid-charge, giving his squad the breather they really needed. For a guy who only talks in rice ball ingredients, Inumaki dropped one of the most clutch assists of the arc. Just when Hanami is finally about to get a taste of defeat, he decides to nope out of there. But oh no, Gojo's been sitting on the sidelines this whole time due to a barrier keeping him out. The villains knew if Gojo showed up on time, then the fight would be over in 0.2 seconds. Eventually, that barrier lifts, and in comes Gojo. Late to the chaos, but ready to make a flashy entrance as always. And boy, does he ever. He finds Hanami trying to escape and is like, "Leaving so soon? I brought you a parting gift." Cue Hollow Purple, one of Gojo's ridiculously overpowered techniques, which is basically like firing a purple Kamehameha meets black hole. It obliterates everything in its path. Poor Hanami gets half of his body vaporized in the blast. Rest in peace to half of you, buddy. And the rest of him barely escapes alive thanks to plot armor, and the fact that the villains still need to do their villain stuff later. Crisis averted, event cancelled, and everyone is like, "Damn, Gojo, you are flashy AF." He just grins because being the strongest also means never missing a chance to put on a show. With the exchange event fiasco over, things calm down for a bit. The students recover, Yuji properly becomes part of the group, and they go all out for some well-earned beef stew. It's a rare wholesome moment of peace, which of course means the narrative is about to punch us in the gut again. But before that, there's a tiny detour. The curses called the death paintings. Basically, they are special cursed wombs that were preserved and are now awakened as cursed brothers. In the last episodes of Season 1, Yuji, Nobara, and Megumi face off against two of these death painting bros, Kechizu and Esel, freaky human curse hybrids who are oddly sympathetic. The fight is intense and gross because these curses have blood-based powers. Nobara and Yuji end up teaming up in a gloriously brutal tag team. Nobara unleashes her resonance technique, slamming nails into herself to injure the curses, and Yuji does what he does best, rapid-fire punches. Together Together, they exorcise the hell out of these two brothers in a stunning finisher that is equal parts epic and ouch, that's gonna hurt. Our trio is looking like they just walked out of the set of a horror movie. It's actually a big moment of growth. They handled a top-grade threat without Gojo babysitting, and they owned it. Hell yeah, that's character development. After the dust settles, we catch a glimpse of the looming threat. That villain Geto is still out there with Mahito and company cooking up their next scheme. End of season 1, mission success. Fingers collected? A few. Trauma accumulated? A lot. Hype levels? Oh, through the roof. With season 1 wrapped, fists bloodied, and trauma meters maxed out, you would think that the anime would give us a breather, right? Well, nope. Before diving into season 2, we get the prequel movie Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Introducing Yuta Okotsu, the nervous wreck turned nuclear option of Jujutsu High. Haunted by his childhood friend Rika, now a terrifying curse, Yuta trains under Gojo and goes from a timid cinnamon roll to special grade sorcerer who can clap Suguru Geto himself. While Yuji was busy snacking up on Sukuna's fingers, Yuta was already carving out his legend, setting himself up as a future heavyweight in the main story. Before we plunge into the next arc, the show pulls a fast one on us and gives us a flashback arc. Yep, it's time for a lore drop, folks. We go back in time to Gojo's past. Spoiler, he was somehow even more obnoxiously powerful and a total dork. We see a younger Gojo and his best buddy Suguru Geto. They're students at Jujutsu High, and they are tasked with protecting a girl named Riko, who is essentially destined to be sacrificed, more or less, to merge with Tengen-sama. It's complicated, and Gojo straight up calls the mission babysitting duty. He and Geto end up actually befriending Riko over a few days of fun. For a hot second, we get this wholesome trio, and you're like, wow, Gojo and Geto were like the dynamic duo of Jujutsu. Nothing could ever tear these bros apart. Enter Toji Fushiguro, aka Daddy Toji, aka the Sorcerer Killer. Toji is Megumi's deadbeat dad. This guy is an absolute unit, a non-sorcerer who can obliterate sorcerers using pure skill, sneaky tactics, and a whole arsenal of cursed tools. And the abs, let's not forget about the abs. Anyways, Toji is hired by shady folks to assassinate Riko, as they want to stop the merger ritual. What follows is like a John Wick sequence in the middle of our flashback. Toji outsmarts and outfights both Geto and Gojo. Yes, even Gojo. He then casually guns down poor Riko right in front of Geto. It is a brutal, heartbreaking scene. Geto watches his mission fail and an innocent friend die. Toji is about to peace out, feeling pretty good about himself, except one problem. Gojo isn't quite dead. In fact, getting nearly killed seems to have unlocked his ultra instinct or something, because Gojo heals himself and comes back with vengeance on his mind. He masters a new OP move on the fly, reverse curse technique, which is basically healing, and the infamous purple that we saw earlier, and utterly demolishes Toji in round 2. Toji is like, oh, I messed up, and gets yeeted into oblivion. Before dying, Toji gives a final, oh, by the way, I have a kid, do what you want with him. That kid being Megumi. Gojo is left standing more OP than ever, but at a cost earlier, and utterly demolishes Toji in round 2. Riko is dead, and Geto is shattered by the experience. This, my friends, is villain origin story time. Over the next few months, Geto spirals, as he can't reconcile that they're saving humans who sometimes are awful. Eventually, he does the unthinkable, massacres a whole village, and decides the only solution is to wipe out all non-sorcerers. He goes full Magneto on humanity, and Gojo is forced to confront his ex-BFF, but Geto escapes, setting the stage for the frenemy showdown of the century down the line. Flashback end, and now you know why Gojo is the GOAT, and why his former bestie is now the big bad. Emotional damage for Gojo? Definitely. Does he show it? Nah, he just buries it under 6 layers of trolling and infinite swag. Fast forward to the present day, right after season 1's events. Remember the villain's master plan to seal Gojo? Yeah, it's go time for that plan. Welcome to the infamous Shibuya Incident arc. It's Halloween, and Shibuya is popping off with partygoers. That's when Geto, or someone that looks like Geto, it's complicated, but let's just say that brain swapping is involved, as the real Geto is dead, but his body is being controlled by an ancient sorcerer called Kenjaku. Yeah, yikes. And the curses spring their trap. They erect a giant barrier around Shibuya, trapping thousands of civilians inside, and specifically lure in sorcerers. The goal? Isolate Gojo and seal him with a special grade artifact called the Prison Realm. All the sorcerers rush to Shibuya to respond, including our main trio and the second-year students. It is absolute chaos in there. Curses run amok, people are panicking. It's like D-Day but with demons. Gojo, being the absolute boss he is, dives straight into the deepest part of Shibuya, where the worst curses are huddled together. He faces off against a tag team of curses, Jogo, Hanami, and another curse called Choso, one of the death painting brothers who didn't fight in season 1. So it's basically 3 versus 1, but that one is Gojo. So it's not a fight. It's a performance art piece called Gojo reminds everyone why he is the strongest. However, all this is part of the villain's plan. They manage to maneuver Gojo into a train station where a ton of civilians have been transformed into mindless monsters. This puts Gojo in a tight spot because even he can't save everyone at once without possibly harming innocents. In that split second of emotional conflict, they spring the Prison Realm. A mysterious box appears and starts opening its eye to suck Gojo in. Gojo actually has a moment of, oh crap. He tries to blast it, but the Prison Realm's activation is already in motion. As a last act of defiance and fan service, Gojo looks at Pseudo Geto, or Kenjaku, and says, "Ugh, you're still alive?" And then, boom. Our unbeatable, beloved OP mentor gets sealed. And just like that, Gojo gone. And the fandom collectively went, "Excuse me?" The balance of power tilts and all hell truly breaks loose now that the good guy's nuke has just been taken off the battlefield. With Gojo out of the picture, Shibuya turns into an all-out horror show. Our other heroes are now in serious trouble. Yuji, Megumi, Nobara, and the others are scattered around Shibuya, fighting for their lives. Yuji squares off against Choso, the eldest of the death painting bros, and it is straight up a slugfest in a subway tunnel. Choso's blood manipulation is vicious, and Yuji takes beating after beating until he's a bloody pulp on the floor. Just when Choso's about to finish him, a weird false memory convinces him that Yuji is his little brother, and he spares him. It is bizarre, brutal, and kinda hilarious all at once. Nanami, Maki, Naobito, and Megumi all get trapped inside of Dagon's domain, basically a cursed beach resort where an endless swarm of sea monsters try to eat them alive. Just as the fight reaches hopeless territory, the walls rip open and in storms Toji Fushiguro? Resurrected and built different. He doesn't hesitate. Toji plows through Dagon's Shikigami like they're practice dummies, and then erases the special grades so fast that it looks like a skipped cutscene. For the sorcerers, it was a desperate battle for survival. For Toji, it was a warm-up set, and his return instantly flipped the entire arc on its head. But, remember Sukuna? Well, he's been waiting for a chance to cut loose, and thanks to some villainous meddling, Yuji gets force-fed a bunch more Sukuna's fingers amidst all the chaos. Jogo literally shoves them down Yuji's throat like, "Eat up, kid." This pushes Sukuna's control to the tipping point. At one critical moment, Yuji loses consciousness, and Sukuna seizes control. And when Sukuna comes out to play, it is massacre time. He unleashes a giant domain expansion and annihilates everything in a huge radius, including, unfortunately, a lot of civilians. It's Carnage. Sukuna also seizes the moment for a bonus boss fight against a super Shikigami that our boy Megumi accidentally summons in a fit of desperation. Enter Maharaga, a kaiju-grade Shikigami so nasty that even Gojo might break a sweat. And of course, Sukuna throws down with it just because he freaking can. And when you're the king of curses on holiday, why not wrestle the local Godzilla? Am I right? Poor Yuji is essentially tied up in the sunken place of his own mind, forced to watch his body commit atrocities. The city is literally burning around him. This is JJK's idea of a Halloween party. Elsewhere, our supporting cast are basically facing their own nightmares. Megumi gets into a battle that nearly kills him with his own dad. Our boy is battered and on the brink, but he survives by the skin of his teeth. Nobara ends up in a fight with a sadistic little gremlin of a curse user. Not actually a little girl, much more of a murder munchkin. Nanami steps in to help, and guess who shows up mid-fight? Mahito. Still alive and extra maniac. What follows is perhaps the most heart-stopping moment for Nobara stans. Mahito manages to touch Nobara's face and activates his curse technique. We cut away with an image of her face bloating and cracking. It looks bad, like fatal bad. And at this point, the show is just ripping our heart out one by one. Gojo sealed, mass casualties, and now possibly Nobara? Best girl might be down. Yuji later finds Nobara's lifeless-looking body and absolutely loses it. My guy seriously cannot catch a break. This is like trauma bingo, and he just hit a blackout card. And then, there's Nanami. Oh, my heart. Our dear wage-slave sorcerer is out here saving people, being the hero he is, when he crosses paths with Mahito in a subway tunnel. Nanami is already injured, exhausted, and basically running on fumes. In a moment that will forever hurt, Mahito ambushes Nanami and kills him. Just like that. It's swift and brutal. And Nanami's last thoughts are of work-life balance and taking a vacation. I'm not crying, you're crying. This death hits hard. By the end of the Shibuya Incident, the sorcerers managed to stop the immediate threat, but the damage is catastrophic. The villains achieved a major victory. Satoru Gojo is sealed, a ton of people are dead, Tokyo is in shambles, and our heroes are left traumatized licking their wounds. Yuji in particular is shattered by the destruction that Sukuna caused through him. He feels the weight of all those deaths, and it's heavy stuff. The authorities in the Jujutsu world label Yuji a threat, like it's his fault. Poor guy can't even catch a break. And basically, the good guys won in the sense that some of them escaped alive. But it sure as hell doesn't feel like a win. It feels like the end of Infinity War. Cue the sad credits music. And that, my friends, is the saga of Jujutsu Kaisen so far. In summary, absolute freaking chaos. And we loved every second of it, didn't we? But don't you think that this ride is over? Oh no, the madness is just getting started. And if you thought that what we have seen so far was peak insanity, the future of JJK is poised to crank it to levels that should be frankly illegal. Before we leave, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I truly appreciate your support. And if you would like me to recap any other anime, drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.